Well, he did that.
Yeah, I watched.
That's right. So I would. Okay. No, they have. What was it?
Yeah, that's what.
Music and hooligans, basically, that's it. We have, we've always wanted to make it,
You see my really nice sticker?
have agencies come over. They're pretty cool. Okay.
Many people have asked me what it is.
Oh, good. Okay. Women development, like. Agencies that are gonna be, important.
Yeah, a bear.
Yeah. But we have participants in the city, we have participants. The state, I invited the state, they wanna show the design for how it is. That'll be nice to have them there.
Yeah.
I never said that.
Background, many, we have the Hispanic request.
I just never thought I'd want.
Yeah.
A little bit better than I wanted to do that.
Oh, yeah, it will ask you where else it is.
Yes, when you, come in, just let me know so I can introduce.
Oh, I will, I'll let you, I'll see you, I'll find you.
And Betty actually likes to attend them.
I was setting. Okay.
Okay.
Back.
I talked to them the other day.
You're back at the table.
Yeah, she's back and, she interviewed me a little bit. We didn't talk about stuff. But, really nice. This time, we have,
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Butte County Association of Governments Board of Directors meeting. This is the meeting of October 23rd, 2025. Please join me in salute the flag of our nation. Ready? Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Board Member Connolly?
Here.
Board Member Durfee?
Here.
Board Member Ritter? Here. Board Member Kimmeltu?
Here.
Board Member Teeter? Board Member Arnold? Board Member Goldstein? Here. Board Member Calderon?
Here.
Board Member Pittman?
Here.
Board Member Lazan?
Here. Is there any, online participation today or any online comments?
None.
Bring it up again. First up on our agenda is a consent agenda. Would any board member like to pull something on the consent agenda? Anybody from the public? Post public comment? Wishes of the board?
Move approval consent?
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Perfect, we're moving. It's gonna be a rough tide of information. 2026 Regional Transportation. Wait a minute, you wanna make your announcement first?
Yeah, it would be, Yvonne is not here, he's off on extended leave for a little while, so, we'll get back with
Where do we send cards?
it. We will get some information to you. We'll send some to the entire board.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, next.
Um,
20,
So item number 6 here is our draft, Regional Transportation Improvement Program, which we have brought before the board a couple of times before already. I've gone through the, process with the local jurisdictions advisory committee, and are moving forward with the Chico Eaton Road 99 roundabout project. It's a pretty substantial, addition to the funding that they already have in place. This is for the project on the west side. So the process is that we bring the draft development beginning in August, and then today marks the date that it goes out for public review. It has been posted. Notice has gone out. So today we'll start that first day and we'll take comments on it from the 11th, at which time we would bring it back for the final document development approval by the board. So this is just another little milestone in development.
Andy, is there a tentative, you think, completion date, or are you even near there yet?
Well, I do know that Caltrans has taken the lead on it, and most of this particular cost is due to an overrun that Caltrans is coming up against in developing it. But as far as I know, I think they're probably about 3 years out with it. They are moving.
Obviously, the reason it's going in, it's just a very dangerous intersection at this point. A lot of collisions, and anybody that lives in North Chico happens to get off there, turning left, heading eastbound, heading south, it's a nightmare. It's just dangerous. And glad we're doing something else.
That should work in the roundabout on the east side works fairly well until it gets too full.
And that's 15 minutes in the morning and the night. Other than that, it's just fine.
It is coming.
Other questions or comments by board members? Move on then. Public comment. Number 7, Chico to Sacramento Intercity Bus Service Update, Chris.
Thank you. Good morning. This is just an information item. Just want to give you a quick update on the Chico to Sacramento City Bus Service Project. Remember, Kimball Shoe suggested maybe we keep this as a monthly standing item. So just circling back on a couple things that have happened since we discussed this with you last month. We did hold a meeting with the San Joaquin Joint Powers Authority with their staff. They reviewed the draft timetable, gave us some good input. They seem to be on board with the concept of our new service replacing the existing Amtrak Route 3 between just Chico and Sacramento. So, just kind of preliminarily. So that was a good indication. We're going to move forward with some additional meetings with them. We're also trying to set up a meeting, the Amtrak Capital Corridor and JPA folks, start advancing those discussions. So sort of waiting to set up a meeting date for that. Those are good, positive indications. We're also working on that revised funding application. You may recall that the first step funds were lined for the rail study, and we're shifting it to this. So the goal has been to get that out by the end of the month, and on track for that. That's good too. And then the updates to the 2022 Chico to Sac study, we've been aiming to get that completed sometime in December. We're actually ahead of schedule. So we expect that to be completed by Thanksgiving. And so for the December board meeting, stay tuned. We should have all that information to share with you. For those detailed updates to that study, things like ridership, fares, updated timetable. They'll all still be preliminary, but kind of what we're hoping to move forward with the new service. And then the other thing we've been looking at is purchasing sort of buses. That's probably the biggest governor of our time frame for getting this service up and running is the time it takes to get those buses here. We're seeing that new buses are about a year out, whereas there's some good potential used buses on the market that aren't that old without that many miles that maybe might be more like 6 months or less. So we're just researching that and trying to get that purchase made sooner than later so we can get that clock ticking. That's kind of all we had. Again, we're going to share more detailed info with you in the December board meeting. Happy to answer any questions.
Next question. Did you include in any of those preliminary conversations the folks from Chico State or the folks from Oroville Hospital?
Not yet. Not yet. Yeah, we need to kind of get SJJPA folks kind of okay with what we're even talking about before we want to start reaching out to others. So that for sure they're on our list. That's going to be happening as we move. We just want to make sure that they're sort of agreeable to like the draft timetable, idea of it replacing the Route 3 because that brings operational funding to us from the state, which helps offset those costs. If they weren't to be agreeable to that, then we'd have a bigger cost for operations. And so, yeah, just trying to check those boxes before we move forward with the other.
I'm just wondering if, you know, particularly like with the hospital and stuff, you know, if there could be money from them purchasing buses.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point, yeah. Yeah, there's a few other potential funding partners. We haven't talked to SACOG, Sacramento Area Council of Governments yet, but, you know, we'd be serving their area with this service also, so they could be a potential funding partner. Yeah, good point with Orville Hospital.
I'm curious, would you go down 70 or would you jump back over to 99, pick up Gridley and go down?
Right.
We're
We're kind of just going with what the 2022 study showed, which is Highway 70.
How would Gridley connect? Can we get a?
Yeah, we're working on connections for Gridley. And, you know, this is sort of stuff we're going to be like developing more details on as we go forward. We're still in the initial phase of looking at all this, but, you know, the route would be down 70. It's faster, safer, et cetera. That's what the 2022 study identified. And then we're looking at somehow connecting Gridley in with it. It may be that we're connecting them to the Yuba Sutter Transit via Live Oak, or running buses directly to the Marysville stop that we're going to have from Gridley, or potentially, you know, you could go West Gridley Road over to 70, up on 70 over there. Those are things that we're discussing internally, but we just don't know yet. So we are aiming to like make sure that Gridley has some sort of reasonably direct connection.
Part of our challenge with it is, how many buses do we buy? How many people do we think are gonna get on them? What we don't wanna do, my biggest worry with this is that we go out and we buy 5 or some odd buses, that's pretty significant investment, and we don't have enough people on those buses. So, we're really trying to move as quickly as we can, but be very cautious about who's gonna actually ride that. Connecting to Gridley is an important factor on that. We wanna have them, over there, but for finding the buses, that's proving to be a pretty challenging deal. But, you know, we may not necessarily need a 57-foot coach either. There are other vehicles out there that are being manufactured by multiple organizations. We don't typically see them because we focus on the larger coach, 35 and 40 foot. But we did buy these Freightliners out here, which is the kind of, they call that the cutaway version, cut the can type front. Those are Freightliner, Siemens, powered. Those combinations exist in other bus manufacturers. So even though we don't typically buy smaller, say 25 to 35 foot buses, it doesn't mean they're not out there. So we're going to put a lot of time into talking with as many people as we can that produce buses, manufacture them with combinations of mechanical components that are reliable. And then if we need to start a service that is not the full 11 trips a day, to see what kind of a demand we have, we kind of step into this slowly to make sure that we get the demand. I'd rather have too much demand and try to catch up with it, and go out there and not have the demand at all and be stuck. So that's kind of the balance with that. It's figuring out how to best. So I think we're making a lot of progress.
I got a quick comment. I attended the conference out at Citrus Heights called Valley Vision, kind of an offshoot of SACOG down there. About 350 folks in the room. They're all talking about the big issues like this. And one of the interesting things in their survey, the tried and true born and raised Sacramentans were most irritated by the cost of housing. They constantly said, we can't afford to live here, but this is where we want to live. So the reach out there was, you know, the idea of living in the other, like our communities, our county, and having some kind of transportation. That was really something to maybe look at. I'll send you the contact of Valley Vision. It's beyond SACOG, it's all the entities, utilities, all kinds of groups, and It was the third meeting they've ever had. They only have it every once a year, and they're doing a 2025 blueprint planning for the entire area. But our county is not one of that group, but it was very fascinating to see their discussion. And kind of goes along the line, boy, a transit system would really entice them to move up to these other communities where the housing is more affordable.
We've also extended our agreement with the people that are helping us with the new service launches that we're doing. They're very in tune to some of these rural area systems and how to market them. So we're engaging them to help us kind of reach out and target the best way to develop this community services. They've been involved with community services that go much farther than Southern California, out easterly to Arizona state lines. So they have a good idea of how to approach finding out the best way to service.
Well, the interesting thing was UC Davis and SMUD and all the facilities were looking for this kind of thing because they need to hire employees. Employees can't afford to live there. Kind of an interesting combination of things that are happening.
So we'll be bringing this back as we get a little farther along and get more details. We'll keep bringing it back to the board.
I know you're probably already considering it, but also just one possible small commute market of people going from Chico. Also, people coming to Chico, too. I would argue that should be more. But as someone who goes to Sacramento a lot.
I mean, it's a two-leg process, really. It's Chico to Marysville area and Marysville to Sacramento.
All of it's important.
Yeah, we're trying to find the best way to functional. And
The airport too, obviously. Are you going to possibly connect in Sacramento or?
Yeah. Our goal is to have a stop in Sacramento at GA and 4th, which would allow you to walk over to the L and 4th stop for both the YOLO bus and the SAC-RT Airport Express, which have buses going out to the airport every 60 minutes. According to their schedule, that trip out to Terminal A is 17 minutes. So if we have reasonable connection times to get off that bus and walk over there and not have to wait too long.
Going on a trip, it beats parking.
Yeah, I think we discussed that last time with the way that the SAC Airport parking is overwhelmed and getting stuck out in East Economy or South Economy. And then to address Board Member Goldstein's comment, we are looking at having two stops in Marysville, and one would be right across the street from Caltrans District 3.
Can you get rid of the one at the county center?
We just come straight down wherever that street is, and then we'd make a right, and there'd be a second stop by the park and ride back on 70s. Not deviating too much from 70.
Cool, yeah, as long as we can stay kind of close to 70.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the challenge, is like, everybody wants stops throughout the route, but the more stops there are, the less people might want to take it to Sacramento because it takes too long. So there's a balance there. We're trying to strike that.
Any other questions or comments for public comment? Move on to State Route 99 at Rio Bonito Safety Project. I'm gonna take that one.
I will take this one.
That's why, that's called Rambo, when you go over the creek there.
This is, this 99 at Rio Bonito, I know has been on the radar for quite some time.
Hey, they've already ripped the orchard out.
Yeah, well, and I'm a frequent, call to, or from, Donna Bayless calls me a lot.
I can't imagine.
Speed dial. But I think
Well, she wants a roundabout in front of her house.
Yeah, I think, I haven't talked to her since this came up, but I did get her connected with the District 3 folks that were looking at this location, particularly, from a safety aspect. And they've done, Caltrans District 3 has done some programming, on it, and is now kind of got it on their front burner for developing it. And I think we have Clark on the phone from Caltrans.
Good morning.
Clark is here. Okay, so Clark, if you're okay with it, want to turn it over to you, and Ashley will run through these couple of pages in our agenda. If you cue her and you want to talk just a little bit about it for the board and let them know what you guys are considering and what your possible timeframes are in moving forward.
Okay, I can do that. Ashley, you want to go first, or you want me to?
Ashley is on, do you have our agenda item?
I do.
She is on agenda item 8, attachment, the very first page of the staff report, just behind the cover page of the agenda item.
Gotcha. So this project for us right now, it's has been triggered as a safety, our top priority safety project. We started seeing a pattern of collisions over the last 5 years. We've got a time frame of April of 2019 to March of 2024, where we identified 15 collisions in that time frame. 6 of those occurred within October 2020 and September 2021. All of those collisions were broadside due to failure to yield. 8 of those resulted in injuries. So because of that number, we also look at statewide averages. And on the agenda item, you'll see that it triggered about over 3 times higher than the statewide average, which kicks it up to the top priority on our safety side for Caltrans. As we go through, before we program a project, we try to go after some interim measures. So over the last couple of years, we've refreshed the stop ahead signs on Rio Bonito Road and increased the size of the actual stop signs there. And earlier this year, we installed some intersection warning signs and relocated some of the signs that were creating some sight distance issues. So as we've gone through and we're trying to program a project here, we're developing a project initiation document right now. We're close to about 60% complete with that document, trying to get that completed by December and ideally get it programmed in January of 2026. And from there, since it's high priority safety project, we don't have to wait for a normal programming cycle. We can start work right away on the environmental and engineering studies. From there, we'll develop the environmental document, and we'll continue our outreach with you and our local partners there at BCAG and the city and county, with the intent to complete design in 2029 and start construction in 2030. The alternatives that we're currently looking at and will be programmed, we've got 2 alternatives here, either a roundabout or a traffic signal. We're still in studies. Like I said, we're still in preliminary identification stage, and we'll make that final determination after we get our environmental studies and engineering studies complete. But we are planning to program the roundabout alternative only because it's the higher cost of the 2. And as we're going after money, if the traffic signal ends up being the preferred alternative, it's easier to get less money than get more money down the road. So with that, I guess I'll open it up to any questions.
I'd like to point out my parents lived right about where that arrow is right now on Rio Bonito, just out of sight. And that intersection has always been dangerous, but with the improvements I was talking about on Rio Bonito, there's going to be an increased traffic because they're taking the hairpin out of it that people try to avoid. And that's the comment I made about the orchard. You go just out of view to the east there, and I cut across the orchard to what we call Rambo, where the kids swim in the canal illegally. It's much needed. Any questions or comments by the board?
I think it's a great project.
Thank you very much. I think we'll move on now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clark.
Move on, you're winning. Okay, number 9, Butte Regional, no public comment. Butte Regional Transit 2026 unmet transit needs. Gloria.
Board, just, the start of our annual unmet transit needs process, which we have to perform each year in order to determine if there are any unmet transit needs in the area that are reasonable under the definition set by the board, about 20 years ago now. An unmet transit need for this particular instance is one that's related to fixed route service, and our service area. So if there's any area in the county or in, the cities that need service that we do not currently offer. It's less so related to, questions of operations and like timetables. But if we don't operate service late enough or request service or improve service on Sundays and weekends, things like that are considered unmet transit. We take comments year round. This is just a formalized process we have to go to, for the TDA. You have to determine that there are no unmet transit needs that are reasonable or meet, the transit needs that are reasonable, before you can expend any money towards the jurisdictions on streets and roads or, on public transit projects. So, attached are the, notices that we sent out to all the local newspapers and on our social media. We will come back to the board in December for the public hearing to close the public hearing.
Questions or comments by the board members? Public comment? Take items from the floor, anything from the floor? Turn. See you back here December 11th. Yes!
Skip in November.
Like my
Yeah,
second,
November? All right.
Thing that you've,
we're skipping it?
We're not gonna
Skip in November.